So this time we're looking at an Amstrad GX4000. From the start we got something on the box here. Never switch the power of the GX4000 on and off by pulling the small plug in and out of the GX4000. Always leave the small plug fitted to the GX4000 and only switch the power on and off by removing the power pack from the wall socket. So never do this, always do this. So again, one of the issues with this console was the power itself. There were a lot of them got returned where people did just pull it out the back and it would just pop it. When we look on the side here, you can see originally what you got was the console itself, 2 controllers, the burning rubber game, all pretty good. Also, as you can see, it'll work with the monochrome and colour Amstrad monitors. So if you already had a Amstrad 464, you could just use one of these monitors with it. We'll just open the box up now and just have a look inside. So this particular one I actually bought back in the day for I think about £35. So because this wasn't a popular console and didn't sell well, there was a company called Ball Electrical and they got a lot of these sort of things and they would have them at a discount price. Just quickly note, this is obviously somebody's checked it, whoever person A was or checker A was. So everything in this console, open this particular console up, it will have the check mark of A on it to say that that's the person who did it on that particular shift, I'm assuming. So I've got one other game for it, amazingly, because most GX4000s you'll only see them with burning rubber, but I do have Batman for this as well. That's the original manual, never been opened because it is a fairly straightforward console to connect. And there's the console itself. So if we look at the front, we've got a 3.5mm stereo output, digital controller, analog controller, digital controller 2. The connector at the ends for either a light gun or a light pen. On the back, we've got this switch for turning the sound on and off. TV RF connector. A SCART output, that's for the monitor. Finally, the 2 power connectors. One's a 5V DC that would come from a monitor. The other one's a 9 to 11V DC that we'd use if you was using it with a SCART socket. I would highly recommend replacing that one. The good thing is that they have made the jack ports different sizes on these power supplies. See, I've got 3 consoles here. I'm just testing them all out, and this one I'm getting no response at all from the controller. Game's loading fine, everything else is working fine. I'm getting a good display out of it, but just nothing happening with the controller. So luckily with this one I didn't have to go far to see the problem. If you look at the pins on that, I don't know what someone's done to this, but they've managed to rip the pins out of the front of the joystick port on both sides, so God knows what they were using. So to open it up, it's fairly simple, just 2 crosshead screws. And then you've got these 4 tabs on the edge, so literally just pull them 2, lift one side up. Other tabs on the other side, and that comes away nice and clear. Now for some reason there's like a little bit of oil there. I don't know whether this is during manufacturing this has happened, because it doesn't look like it's coming externally. So there is our kind of cardboard RF shield by the looks of it, cardboard with a bit of foil over the top RF shield. So I'm just removing the power switch here. I could just unplug it from the board, which I do later. I just want to take it apart anyway. If you notice, there is a difference in the screw sizes, so the smaller ones do the switch, the bigger ones that hold the case together. But fairly easy, but just obviously be mindful of that when you put it back together. Don't put the long screws through on the power switch. So now if I just remove this switch, and that's the whole circuit board with the switch off. You can see it's a fairly simple mechanism, just a simple switch. That plastic cover goes over that. Just having a closer look at the board here, just to see if there's any other damage. It looks in fairly good condition. If you notice there, the C mark though, so obviously this is a different inspector to the one that was boxed earlier. Just have a look at the back here, and then a closer look at them pins, and as you can see, I don't know how they've managed to rip these out. This particular one I did get from a car boot fair for, I think it was £1 I paid for it. So very cheap, I mean ridiculously cheap, but you can see the condition it's in. Also it's missing one of its cartridge slot, like the flat top, and you can see here this is how the mechanism works for the cartridge. So as you turn the power on, it basically holds the cartridge in place so someone can't yank it out mid-play. First thing I need to do here is just remove these couple of components that are bridging over onto the joystick ports. Then just remove the solder to get these old ones off. Using our old method of using flux with solder braid as well. This tends to work pretty good at getting all that solder off. So again, we just rest it on there and let the heat and the solder flux do its job. You just watch it just go silver as it takes all that solder away. So again, just getting this final bit out, I just had to use a screwdriver with the heat just to get them last couple of pins out to get it removed from the board. Again, trying to be very careful here not to pry it too heavily. Last bit of desoldering here. That's that one loose. So just cleaning up the last little bit here. Get that last little bit of solder off of here, just to make it easier when we put our new joystick ports back in. You can see on joystick port 1, 2 of them have lifted up, 2 of the pads have lifted up, but again they don't do anything, they don't go anywhere, which was lucky. However, it's just one of the things, whenever you're desoldering stuff, it is very difficult sometimes, especially on older equipment. Too much heat and them tracks lift, especially if they're not going anywhere or doing anything. Now, I didn't realise that these particular joystick ports I've bought aren't exactly the right ones. So if you notice at the front of them, these have the nuts that hold it in place. They need to come off because otherwise the case won't fit. At this point I don't realise that though, so I've just soldered them all in. And again, for some reason, I was assuming that when you take these off, the front would just stay on, but as you can see, it becomes loose. It does need them nuts to hold it in place. So at this point I decided to try it in the case itself. You'll see when I put the top of the case on, yep, they're all poking through nicely. So it'd either be modifying the case, which I don't want to do, or in this particular instance, just to make sure it's all working, I'm going to remove these nuts out of there, and I'm just going to glue this outer shell onto the back part. Once the casing's back on, it should hold it in place anyway and should act as a strain relief for it. So here I'm using some Gorilla super glue. It's best to use a good quality super glue if you're doing stuff like that. I don't like gluing things together, but in this particular case, I had a look around. It is difficult to find ones where it's stamped on the front. Not impossible, but again, for now I just want to see if this thing is actually going to work properly. Because again, I don't know how them pins were removed. I don't know how they managed to do it, but I can imagine that could have possibly caused some damage, depending if they've used pliers while the console's been on or something. So it might be that there is more damage to this than I suspect. So just do the same to the other side. Little blob of super glue, not too much, because again, we don't want it getting inside, and he left it for a while, let it dry properly. Just gave the console a general clean off as well, because you can see it's quite dirty. Again, with a lot of these consoles, they've got so many little grooves and tracks and stuff on them that it does make it difficult to get them quite clean. Plug in the power switch back in there. That's just the case needs to snap together now. So now I'm just going to try a game on here. And of course we've got to go with burning rubber because, as I say, that seems to be the most common game for this particular console. Gears. Okay, that all looks good. I'll see you on the next one.